My name is Suleiman. I'm the managing director for Siemens Energy in Nigeria. I'm going to use and stay on existing protocols so that we can save some time. It's not going to be easy to talk about sustainability for 15 minutes, but I will try as much as possible to cover as much as I can. Okay. So basically, it's not news to any of us, what is happening in our environment. As you can see, there's a lot of globalization. There's the impact of the climate on our environment. And I think in one way or the other, we can all see that, these are challenges that we have in the modern day world. If you look at the first slide that I'm displaying, you will see that the values are very, very clear in terms of how countries, are evolving in this area. So I think everybody is on the same page in terms of sustainability, that our environment has changed in terms of demography, and climate change is here to stay. And we have to sort of find a way out to be able to forge to the future. The next slide, please. Okay, this particular slide, if you look at it, is just trying to tell us about the issues that we have, as a country. As we have currently in Nigeria, we don't even have sufficient energy. And now we are saying we want to transform sustainably. So as a country, I think we have a gap. We have a lot of issues that we are still dealing with. If you look at gas flaring, is still going on. There is also a lot of environmental factors that we are still dealing with. CO2 emissions is also very, very clear. But in the midst of all this, we can't still be behind. We have to also move at the same time, with the rest of the world. Next slide, please. Here in Siemens Energy Nigeria, if you've been following Siemens very closely, we've been here for over 50 years. And basically, we have been in the power generation, we have been in the transmission, we have been what we call the industrial application. So we have a lot of fleets, a lot of equipment out there. Various customers, for those that are in the oil and gas, for those that are in the food business, and at the end of the day, these problems are still here. And we as a company, we've got all the expertise to allow this company meet their energy needs on a day-to-day basis. But, having said that, are we going to say, because all these equipment are not sustainable to the level, are we going to just say they are not going to generate their energy needs? No. So what we are doing as a company is, we will keep supporting our customers, but we will also work together to make their assets sustainable for the future. There are different ways in which you can make this happen, and I'm also going to show you a little bit about that. Next slide, please. If you look at the slide here, which I call the interconnected energy landscape, no matter the kind of assets you have, whether you are into refinery, whether you are into LNG or FPSO or power generation, every current asset that you have now can be transformed into a sustainable footprint. And I think, every company and every private sector individual who are doing business have to think about, what do we currently have? How do we bridge the gap in the middle? Then how do we move on to net zero, basically? So if you look at this, we as a company, we are heavily invested in that to be able to make that journey together, along with Siemens Energy. And that is what I've come to tell you here today, that we are in this together. We are going to ensure that your assets, and the emission of CO2 is reduced, so that at the end of the day, we can have clean energy. and that is what is good for our society and for the future. Next slide, please. If you look at this slide, basically the COP26 was what happened in Glasgow last week, and the Nigerian government said net zero will be achieved by 2060. I think it's very easy for us to say that, but I think every one of us in this room, we have to make concerted effort to be able to say the procurements we have now, the decisions we make in our business strategies now, how do we ensure that it's going to be sustainable in the future? So we have to start doing the work now to be able to meet that target of net zero of 2060, which was committed by the President of Nigeria in Glasgow last week. And we all have a role to play. We think this is in the right direction, and it's something that we all have to take very seriously. We at Siemens Energy, we are very taking this area very seriously. We would like you to engage us, after this presentation, and to also make sure that if you have any questions around helping your company to be sustainable in the near future, we are very much available to answer it. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. If you could just stay on stage for a second. I think this presentation was excellent, and I think it is deserving of a couple of questions for you. So do we have any questions from the floor? There's a gentleman with a hat on. Can someone get a microphone to him, please? Or if you could come to the front, actually, that might also be useful. Yeah, just come up. Tell us who you are, who you represent, and then the question. It's a question, isn't it? Okay. So it might be a speech. No, it might be a comment. Any other questions in the house? I want one more question. One from you.
Okay, my name is Biodun Akintaju, and it's not going to be a speech. I'm just wondering, I know you're smiling, so I won't be too hard on you. So there's been this debate, about developing countries cutting over to sustainable forms of energy or sources of energy. And the other day, the Chinese president, and I think also recently, the Indian Prime Minister, talked about the conundrum between sustainability with regards to energy production and development. I'm sure you know where I'm going. Does it then make sense for a Nigeria producing 2,000 megawatts of power to even be talking about green energy for now? Yeah. Let's produce and let's have power. We'll talk about that later. That's number one. I have another one. What was the second one now? Okay, I've forgotten. But deal with that one.
All right. Okay, let me take that question.
Just 1 second. I want to get the second question, and then we'll deal with both, if that's okay with you. Okay. Second question. Just tell us who you are, please, who you represent. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adane Uche, and I own a food processing and packaging business. So my question for you, sir, you talked about energy, and I know a little bit of Siemens because I've worked with you over the years. So what plans do you have for those in agriculture, food processing, and SME? Because I'm so particular about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have two questions. I'm sure there are others, but you've given us carte blanche to come back to you on them. Is that right?
That's right. Okay,
yeah. So the first question is, do we have enough power in the first place? Why are we talking about green? Why? What's the point? Please
okay. Tell us. So I think that question is very relevant. If you remember when I started, I was very clear that as a country, we are not where we should be in terms of our energy needs. Even the way we get energy right now, we are not where we should be. But having said that, we can't, as a country, also not move as the world is moving. And in my view, and I'm telling you, this is my view, we will keep, driving energy, to fill that gap. But what I'm saying is that as we are doing that, we need to basically think to say, how are we supplying that new sort of energy so that, deliberately we are moving towards net zero. So we can do two things at once. Maybe most countries, they've already had that energy at the level, maybe when they used to do a nuclear. And if you look at most of the dirty fuel, coal is very dirty. And I think as Siemens as a company, we've even taken a decision that we are not building any coal plants anymore. So I think from the question that my colleague has asked, we have to do both together at the same time.
Great, well, thank you. I thought it was an excellent question, and I
Yeah.
thank you for the answer.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you're talking about leapfrogging
Yes,
to a degree.
exactly.
Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Excellent, superb. We saw that in telecoms,
Yeah,
and hopefully we can see it in energy.
hopefully.
Thank you. The second question was about what you're doing around agriculture and how you can help people in agriculture. Was that your question, madam? I'm sorry? Okay, SMEs in agriculture, do you have any plans, any thoughts, please?
On the SME topic, I don't think we have much, and I'm being very, very honest. But there are areas that we can also look at, from an agricultural perspective, because power is also needed in the agricultural sector. So please, it's something we can discuss further as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. What I thought was a very inspiring presentation. And again, I'd just like to thank you personally, because I know that with these things, it's a 10, 15-minute presentation, but a lot of work goes into it. So thank you very much indeed, Mr. Suleiman. Thank you.